Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is finally the day. We are officially, I believe, 12 hours away, as I'm recording this, from the release of Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 1, which is absolutely insane. It came up so quickly. Like, I feel like yesterday we were getting the announcement that Cobra Kai Season 6 was going to be, the final season, and we were getting all of these announcements, and now it's already, the time for the season to come out. At least for Part 1, we still have Part 2, which is a couple months away, and then Part 3, which we don't even know when that's coming out, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. In this video, I'm just going to be laying out all of my final, theories and final, thoughts I want to get out there before the part comes out. So it's been a little bit difficult figuring out how I want to format this video. Do I want to talk about what I'm excited for and what I want to see first? Or do I want to talk about what I'm, a little bit worried for first? But I think what I'm going to do is go through everything that I want to see, then go through everything, I don't really want to see or my worries for the season, and then kind of just talk overall my final thoughts. So the first thing that I really want to see this part, and, I'm really hoping happens, is for Kreese's new Cobra Kai to feel like an actual threat. We know that they're going to be in Korea, so obviously there's not going to be any physical threat towards the students in the valley, at least immediately. I just want them to pose some sort of threat to the Miyagi Fangs. Maybe just make it seem like they're like so good at karate that it's almost impossible for anybody in the valley to win. I'd be fine with that. I just want them to be somewhat threatening in Part 1. The next thing kind of ties into this, and I want there to be some actual stakes in Part 1. Obviously the Seikai Taikai isn't taking place yet, and, Terry Silver's in jail, Kreese is in Korea, so there's not going to be, at least we know of, any, huge opposing threat. So I really hope that they just add something in there that, has some sort of stake and puts some people in the valley at risk of something. It doesn't have to be, in risk of dying or anything, but just in risk of losing something that, seems like a opposable threat for at least 5 episodes. And this next one also kind of ties into that. I want the characters to still have some issues with each other. I want there to still be some conflict between a lot of the characters. We know that, Sam and Tori are now friendly. We don't really know what Anthony and Kenny's relationship is going to be. I doubt they're going to be friends right away, but, they might be friendly. The last time we saw them, they were fighting. I know Kenny, is no longer a part of Cobra Kai, but he still probably hates Anthony. Or at least dislikes him to a certain extent. And obviously, I want those relationships to keep growing and them to get more friendly with each other and, those friendships to blossom. But I still want them to have, some problems. I want to see some fights between them, or at least just some conflict to make the season a little bit more interesting. And then the final thing that, is on the top of my head for Part 1, I want to see at least one big fight. I don't really know what that fight can be. It might be, the college fight that we keep seeing in the trailers. That might be, the big Episode 5 fight. But I want to see at least one major fight in the finale in Episode 5 to, hold this over till, Part 2 comes out in November. And now for the things that I maybe don't want to see in the season, or I'm a little bit worried that are going to be in the season. The major thing that I don't want to see, and I've talked about this in a video before, so I don't want to stay on the topic for too long, because it'll just feel like I'm, repeating the same thing, almost like what they're doing with this conflict in the season. But I really don't want them to have conflict just to have, conflict.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The main thing is the Johnny and Daniel fighting about which style, they want to use in the Seikai Taikai. I've talked about that before again. I just don't want them to reuse that same argument over and over and over. Or just little things like that, like reusing storylines just to have some sort of, conflict, because there's not going to be any, major bad guys this season in the valley yet. And really the last thing that I don't want to see in at least Part 1 is Silver. Or at least Silver too early on in this part. I feel like he's going to have, not too big of a role, at least in Part 1. I mean, we didn't see him in any part of the trailer. We didn't see him in any promotional footage or, photos or anything. So I really doubt he's going to be in this part even at all. But if he is, I just hope they hold him off for at least Episode 4 or 5. And they give us little teases of what his story is going to be like in the future. And, they don't focus on him too much now. But yeah, that really is, but those really are my only concerns and worries for the season and things I don't want to see. Obviously, the writers are absolutely amazing, and I trust whatever they want to do with the season. They're obviously way smarter than me. You know, I hardly passed Algebra 1, so obviously I'm not the smartest person. They're obviously way smarter than me, and they know what they're doing. But yeah, really my final, thoughts. I'm just so excited. I cannot believe the season is here so quickly. Obviously, we still have part 2 and 3, but really this is, I guess in Stranger Things fashion, the beginning of the end. We're never going to get, another episode 1 for this show, so really, just enjoy it, take it all in, enjoy the final season of the show, because, again, like I said, this is the final time we're going to be getting a new season. But that really does make you think, kind of, like, how grateful you are for this show. I'm, eternally grateful for this. Without this show, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel or, TikTok or anything like that. So I am eternally grateful that this show is a thing. So I'm definitely going to be taking it all in and just appreciating, the final season and just the show overall. But everybody, the wait is up. Everybody, get excited, get ready. It's only 11 hours away. It's so close, so everybody make sure to get excited. And remember, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. See you on the other side.